treasure these days with Tony Romo, but there will always be a soft spot in my heart for having had the chance to sit in the chair once occupied by Brent and his remarkable running mates. Though our show never came close to reaching the popularity of the original, there remains a pride within CBS that the gigantic legacy created almost 50 years ago still lives every autumn Sunday. Thanks to my friend Rich Podolsky for paying tribute and taking us behind the scenes. He knows as well as anyone what it was like. He was a vital part of the production team. I hope you love learning, or in some cases reliving, what it meant to be a part of the NFL today. You Are Looking Live will always be an important part of sports television history. I think it will leave a wonderful impression. Jim Nantz, September 2020. Author's Note. In 1973, I began covering the Super Bowl champion Miami Dolphins for the Palm Beach Post. It was a job that changed my life. During my second year there, Beano Cook became the team's public relations director, replacing Mike Rathett. Rathett had co-written Coach Don Shula's book, The Winning Edge, but left to become the sports editor of the Philadelphia Daily News. Dolphin owner Joe Robbie did not consult Shula on Rathett's replacement, which Shula was not happy about. Beano had acquired a great reputation with the press when he was at ABC Sports and the University of Pittsburgh before that, but Shula didn't care. He told Beano not to show up at any practices. Cook still found a way to humor the press, and he became friends with many beat writers, including myself. I loved hearing his stories about Roone Arledge and network sports television. On Fridays during the football season, Beano would host a lunch at the Everglades Hotel on Biscayne Boulevard in Miami, next to the Miami Dolphins headquarters. Mike Pearl and Hank Goldberg would always attend the luncheons to hear what teams Beano liked in college football that weekend. Pearl was a well-known sports producer for the CBS affiliate WTVJ in Miami, and Goldberg was the sports director at WTVJ and a radio analyst on Dolphins games. More importantly, Beano was a college football expert, and they both bet on his picks. Just before Beano would make his final pick each Friday, he would bellow out to our waiter, "Emilio!" When Emilio arrived, he would have Cook's favorite ice cream in hand. It was quite a production, and we all had a great time. That was 1974. In the spring of '75, my life changed again when I got a call informing me that my parents had been in a bad car accident. My father died a few days later from his injuries, and my mother needed 6 months to recover. I moved back to Philadelphia to care for her and eventually got a job for a suburban daily newspaper. Staying in touch with Beano kept me sane. Eventually, Shula forced him out of Miami, and he returned to network television as the publicist for the ABC show The Superstars. It was a terrific show that had great athletes competing in sports that were not their specialties. The show was created by two-time Olympic skating champion Dick Button and produced by International Management Group, IMG. Beano kept telling me that he was going to get hired at CBS Sports, and when he did, somehow he'd get me an interview there. So when former ABC Sports executive Barry Frank became the new head at CBS Sports, Beano was hired. In order to take the job, he convinced Dick Button that I would be a perfect replacement to publicize the Superstars. Meeting and working with Button was a thrill, and getting to work with ABC's great producer Don Ohlmeyer was incredibly enlightening. The shows were produced on the west coast of Florida from a real estate complex in Rotunda, near Sarasota. When the shows were edited back in New York, Ohlmeyer was nice enough to invite me in to watch and learn. Ohlmeyer also produced the primetime spin-off Battle of the Network Stars. Brilliantly, he opened that show with an overhead shot of 3 different lines of limos converging on the game site. In February, the program's series concluded with the Super Teams, which was taped in Honolulu. It consisted of 10 members from each of the World Series and Super Bowl finalists competing against each other in sports like bike and relay races, swimming and tennis, and the obstacle course. For me, it was a dream job. I got to fly to Hawaii on a charter jet that left from New York.